So let's go to this. So I think one of the greatest rivalries, one thing I talked about at the Rivalry Sports blog, was one of the greatest rivalries in the NBA. I compared it to um, the Ravens Steelers rivalry in the writing. Not quite the same. Ravens Steelers fighting for the division, fighting for this, but two franchises that measure themselves against each other. This is a big rivalry because I think also too they only really meet in the finals. That's the only reason it's a rivalry because they met so many times in the finals. That's why it is. So we'll see. 119-89. That was the last result in Sunday's game. Real quick on that, Lakers. Lakers are a mediocre team. I've been saying that the last couple of years. The Lakers are my favorite team, but they're very mediocre. Doncic, I think, keeps them way out of the basement, out of the floor as well. They're going to build around him going forward. Interesting to see how that goes. LeBron, I think he should retire. He's not the same player. I think he's a good enough player. I do think he's going to go to Cleveland next year and get his retirement tour, finish where he started, finish in Cleveland. That's fine. There's not a lot of defense on this team. So I don't know why people like Austin Reeves as much as they do, but total non-factor. I've seen him too many times. He'll be good for a stretch, and then it's not a factor. That's not a really, really good player. Celtics doesn't surprise me. Joe Mazzulla is an outstanding coach as well. They have, I think, Jaylen Brown. You're finding out now how good Jaylen Brown is. He's uber underrated as well. Peyton Pritchard, 6th man of the year last year, started a lot. Outstanding shooter as well. They probably won't win the East, I don't think, but I think they're definitely competitive. The fact that they're competitive and basically horse raced the Lakers out didn't surprise me as well. So that game was on Sunday. I watched that game. I think it's the greatest rivalry in sports. I remember when I was a little kid, my dad was the biggest Boston Celtics guy there ever was. Right? We're going to talk about Bill Russell and some of the players, but Bill Russell, I think, was his guy. Certainly one of the athletes, one of the black athletes that stood up for other people in terms of racism and all those things. Guys like Jim Brown, guys like Muhammad Ali, guys like Bill Russell. I think that was the reason. When I was a kid in the 80s, though, it's Larry Bird and McHale and Parrish and Danny Ainge and these guys. So that was the thing. It was going on. Showtime Lakers was it. Before that, we had great iterations of this long rivalry. I think one of the best rivalries, I think, in the history of the NBA, the Celtics and the Lakers. So let's go ahead and talk about this. 1962 NBA Finals. So this was Game 7 as well. This was the infancy of that rivalry here as well. So Elgin Baylor. So some of you who don't know who Elgin Baylor was, Elgin Baylor, I think, was the Lakers of that era. So before there was Jerry West, you had Elgin Baylor. 110-107 in Game 7 as well. The two great Lakers. The two guys going at it. Jerry West played in this game. Bill Russell, this was really in his prime. Sam Jones, the great Bob Cousy as well. So I think this ranks up. I think this was one of the great Celtic Lakers series, and that's saying something there as well. Bill Russell, I think maybe the greatest defensive player in the history of the NBA. One of them. I think other than maybe Dennis Rodman. I think that's the only other name I have. Wilt Chamberlain, maybe as well. But Bill Russell, I think maybe the greatest winner of all time as well. 11 titles in 13 years. Christmas 2008 had to get at least one regular season game. Kobe Bryant and Jesus Shuttlesworth right there. Ray Allen as well. I think this was the one that kind of brought this back a little bit, right? So when you talk about the Celtics and the Lakers, you talk about those great playoff series that they're always having. But a lot of times when you play on Christmas Day and you're featured in a lot of these games, as well. I think this is what you see here, and this was one of the classic games, I think, in the history of the NBA. So the Lakers win 92-83. In this one, Kobe had 27 points. KG, Pierce. This was the Big Three era for the Celtics. This was the resurrection in some ways of these two teams becoming once again the dominant rivalry we had here. So we had it in the 60s, we had it in the 80s, and we had it here around 2010, the Celtics and the Lakers as the top two teams in the league. 1984, I remember this like this was yesterday. Kevin McHale clotheslining, you see it. Kurt Rambis, one of the dirtiest players in his own right, in himself. Lakers were just having their way in this game four. They were running up and down the court. Magic Johnson and the Showtime Lakers. And Larry Bird just said, look, I don't want to see any more layups. I don't want to see any more layups. You guys got to get physical and knock them down. Next series, Kevin McHale clotheslines Kurt Rambis, literally clotheslined him like that. Nowadays, there's no way he wouldn't have got kicked out of the series. Clotheslines him in the series, and the Celtics actually win the game and win the series. And I think a lot of people look at this as the turning point of the whole thing, the McHale clothesline in this one, because the Celtics they didn't have the Lakers' speed, obviously, and all that, but they had the mental edge, the physical edge, and things like that. This was really the end, also too, of the Lakers as the Celtics, rather, as the dominant team of the early 80s. I think like the Celtics really had the early 80s as far as the dominance. 1969 NBA Finals as well. This is a famous picture as well. Jerry West walking off the course at yet another Celtic championship, the final of the 11 of the 13 years as well. Jerry West considered, the great Jerry West, the logo, considered retirement after this game. This was the last game that Bill Russell played in as the player coach as well. Celtics get it again over the Lakers, May 5th, 1969 as well. But number one, the baby hook. Game 4 of the 87 finals. Lakers over the Celtics. Lakers win the series. And like I just told you, the early 80s belong to Boston. The late 80s belong to the Lakers as well. Magic started doing the skyhook. That was a surprise. Obviously, you think, and this was also to the transition of Kareem's team, that we used to call it, to Magic's team. Magic became the guy. Magic became the MVP of the league. Magic was the MVP of the series. It was Magic Johnson's NBA at this point as well. And I think this was one of the greatest games of all time. Back and forth, dip and tuck down to the end. The baby hook. There you go. All right. So I think this was one of the greatest rivalries, I think, in the history of the NBA.